She's Maria Clara Gomez. We call you Mrs. G.
Yes, and he calls Mrs. G because I had a Korean student once who couldn't say my name at all. So
I didn't know
that's
that.
how I became Mrs. G. Yeah,
Okay.
he came in the middle of the year, no English, no Spanish, only Korean. Yeah.
And he called you Mrs.
Yes.
G. Oh, that's so cute.
By the end of the year, by the way, he was fluent in both English and Spanish. He was amazing.
Yeah.
He was.
Okay, so the idea is that this approach to coaching is focused on student learning rather than teacher-centered. Is student-centered.
Student-centered. Okay.
So it all revolves around a student-centered goal.
Okay.
We have this form that this is the first time I'm trying it, and let's see how it goes. So I'm going to go read it word by word. So what do you hope students will learn as a result of our coaching work? Keeping in mind standards in literacy.
Mainly at this point, become independent learners in literacy. Okay, we still have to tell them all the time why we read certain things and that we're always learning new things. In first grade, they're very dependent still, but being independent and recognizing that they have learned something on their own, it really gives them a self kind of fulfillment. Yeah.
How do you think this would link to a specific standard? Language standard. No, not language, literacy standard.
We have, let me see. We have several, do you have the standards out there? Because I cannot remember the words. But I know, for example, the key ideas and details is one of them, because sometimes they think that it is just reading the words and then not actually going back to read and find those key ideas and those details that they will need later on. Actually practicing on their own. Retelling, they have a hard time with retelling because their language is not that fluent. But then going with this, somebody wanted bad, so whatever, finally. Yeah, so that is one of them. Okay. Also, when we're reading nonfiction, identifying a new learning. It's hard for them to identify something new because they all say, I already knew that. I already read that book. Yes, when they really didn't know it from before. Okay, so probably give them a lot of strategies to be able to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any student work or data that could help us decide on a focus that would make the most impact with students?
Yeah. If we're doing literacy, running records, they tell a lot of information. Right now I'm doing informal, so I'm doing reading recovery, and I can tell a lot from that. Those reading recovery tests are hard.
You have copies of those?
Oh yeah, I kept them because that's my informal testing.
I kept them too, and Austin is using them now.
Yeah, some of them are hard. My goodness.
So in terms of being able to narrow it down to student-centered and linking it to the learning goal, let's try and jot down a statement that starts, students will.
Students will independently.
Okay.
And then we can put part of the standard. Okay.
Which one? You talked about key ideas and details, and you talked about. So key ideas and details, we have ask and answer questions about key details in a text. And then
you know what? In this one too, they have a hard time asking questions.
Okay.
For first graders, it's really hard to ask questions about something they have read. I have maybe one or two students that can do it, but then the others can't.
Okay.
They're
so
very
would you like to work
too.
On this one? Okay.
Yeah.
So independently ask and answer.
They can answer the questions. It's
so
asking questions.
Ask.
Yeah.
questions about Tom and Katrina and Mary Pat, feel free to jump in at any point based on what you learned from our discussion. Okay.
Yeah, just so you're not uncomfortable, I'm looking at just how your discourse is going and who's talking the most and kind of keeping that part.
This they can do then. This they can do. Okay.
I like the asking question.
Yes, the asking question part is so hard for first graders. It's even hard to structure a question for first graders.
Yeah. So with this student goal and learning goal in mind, we need to break it up into specific learning targets.
Okay.
That begin with I can statements.
Yes. Okay.
So it would be I can.
Which are more statements that, I mean, ideally, those are statements that students feel comfortable with. So that's the breaking up of the bigger learning goal, which is, you know, eventually you could tell students, or students could say, oh, I can, right? So think about how you can put it in words that are kid-friendly. Okay.
Okay. Okay. For example, they can say, I can retell stories.
Based on this one. And asking questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question, and this is just because I don't know this age.
Yeah.
Do you think your students understand what independently means? Do you think maybe they need more support, or maybe you need to break that concept down into something that they can do?
Yes, they know, for example, independently, do it on your own without the help of an adult. They know that because I tell them that.
So maybe that's something you would like to...
and that our goal for the end of the year is so that they can do many things independently without the teacher or someone else helping you out.
So maybe I
can do things on my own.
I can ask questions. Is that because that's kind of what you want to do, right? So I hear you say that.
Yes. But for example, if we're linking it to literacy, what I meant about that is that they have trouble just formulating questions about something they have read, something that might be difficult for them to understand.
Which is what this standard refers to.
Yes, which is what this standard referred to, since we were linking it to the standards. Yeah.
But then breaking it up, I guess one part is that they understand what it means to be independent. So I can do things on my own.
Or I can ask questions without the help of my teacher.
Okay.
I can ask questions without the help of my teacher. Good.
Do you think there's something about the quality of those questions that you also want to add into your
statements?
Because
because sometimes when we tell them, that readers ask questions, because that's one of the lessons that we always teach them. That's one of our mini lessons. Readers ask questions. They ask very literal questions of something they know the answer to. But for example, inference they have a very hard time with, because first graders, is first a language, it's a second language. So sometimes they don't get the inference. And sometimes they just don't get the whole meaning behind what we have read. Okay? So it is something that you have to teach them, and you really have to do a lot of questioning for them to be able to get it. Okay? So that is one of them. Something else that they have trouble with is the context clues they give them about vocabulary. Is really hard for first graders. Okay, so maybe that is something else that they can do. I can figure out the meaning of words by
asking questions.
Yes, or reading.
Okay.
Okay, rereading again to see if I know the meaning of the word. Because they cannot be asking what does this word mean all the time, but it is more I need to read the whole sentence or the whole paragraph. I need to look at pictures and see if I can get the meaning of what the word means that I don't know. Okay, and it's hard for them, and it has to be explicitly taught too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And going back to the literal questions,
yes,
maybe we could have an I can ask inferential questions.
Inferential questions.
But remember that this is for kids, right, Vane? So
yeah,
how can you break down the concept inferential for how old are you?
Well, inference for for most, I can only think of my very high readers, and I have some very high readers, but because they get everything. But for just my average readers, for example, they don't say how a character is actually feeling or how their feelings are changing from the beginning until the end. And sometimes they don't see that. Mm-hmm. That's inference. I mean, I have to get it from something that the author is saying. But he's not saying, and she was sad. Or
something that's on the picture.
Something that is on the picture. Yeah.
I wonder if you could say it in
a way
where it sounds fun for the kids.
Exactly.
Making inferences is like being a detective. Right? Like I can find the clues that the author left for me.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That would be neat. Mm-hmm.
Or I can play detective while I'm reading so that I can get
find the meaning of words.
Find the meaning or something. As Katrina is saying, something that the idea is that kids
we have we have the word detectives unit, something like that. But it can be but to find the meaning of the words instead of reading the words because they're trying to find.
So how do you think it would be like? I
can be a detective to find the meaning of words I don't know.
Yeah, and that also works for the inferential question.
Exactly. Exactly. So the first one is just to find the meaning of those hard words.
Yeah.
But then there's also playing detective so that they can know more than what the story is telling them, or because that's what you kind of want to say, right?
Yeah.
Like you want to get them to get to
like being a mind reader.
So.
Can you think of another I can?
Well, one for the inferential questions, right? Can you, maybe, Vane, something you can do again is read what you have?
So I have, our student learning goal is students will independently ask questions about key details in a text. And then our learning targets, that's what they are, yeah. I can ask questions without the help of my teacher.
That's one.
I can be a detective to find the meaning of words I don't know. And I can... the inferential questions.
So I can be, again, I think we can use the same
I can look
form.
for clues, what you said. In the book?
In a story so that I can go beyond, they understand me. That's too much.
Like, I can be a mind reader and know things that the author didn't, that aren't in the words of the book.
Do you think they would understand mind reader, your students?
I think so.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. You explain it. Yeah.
I can be a mind reader and
understand the things.
And know things that the author didn't tell me.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And know things that the author didn't tell me. Perfect.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Me. Yeah. They sound fun. They sure do. Okay. Now we need to think of an assessment that we can do before, like a pre-assessment, that will help us use for baseline data. Then at the end, when we reach the end of the cycle, we do another assessment and we can determine that
there was student independent. Okay.
Student growth. It could be a very simple observation checklist, which is what I think would work best.
Do I choose a specific group of students, or does it have to be done with the entire class?
No, it's pretty much the entire class.
The entire class type of thing. Okay.
And from what I'm seeing, this would be done in the read aloud part.
Yeah.
Not workshop. Okay, so an observation checklist.
How would it look like, the observation checklist?
So with the I can statements.
Yeah, with the I can statements.
And maybe designing. So I can ask questions without the help of my teacher. That's pretty much a yes, sometimes no. I can be a detective to find the meaning of words I don't know. I can be a mind reader and know things the author didn't tell me.
Yeah. Right now, for read aloud, since we finished everything, we started with Mr. Potter and Tabby.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be a good one.
Why do you laugh?
Because it is so cute.
Aww. What's it about?
An old guy and a cat.
An old guy and a cat and a neighbor and a dog.
Aww.
An old guy who wanted a cat, but then he wanted one that was as old as he was.
What would be some inferential information from that text?
Well, why did he want a cat?
Mm-hmm.
He was alone. He needed company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what, I mean, I know you don't have the text with you, but you probably know it
Yeah,
very
it's a
well.
series of books.
Okay.
And they're specifically made for first graders. Cynthia Ryland, she's a really good author for first grade.
And what would be some words that they don't know?
There are several. I would need to get the book and then find the words, and he brings them out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she has good vocabulary. She's not only using,
Yeah, you can find some tricky words in there.
For them. Yeah, for second language learners. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What do you think about the observation checklist?
I think that would be easy because between Michael and I, we can check it, and it's easy for the whole class. Who's doing this, who's not doing it yet. And of course, we'll have students who will not get there because we have the cluster class with very special needs. Okay.
And I just realized I really didn't tell you how this looks in like the whole process. So because we're going to go into that right now. So the idea is that we have this goal setting meeting.
Yes.
And then on week 1 we do a pre-assessment, which could be that
the checklist and see how they do.
Then from week 2 to week 5 we have a co-planning and a co-teaching session. Good. We co-plan and co-teach. Good.
Okay.
And then week 6 we do an assessment.
An assessment. Good.
Based on the same observation checklist. So I guess we could just see. It's a matter of looking at percentages, I guess. We have to look at it. Okay. So in terms of building relationships and strategies for coaching and collaboration, what are your hopes or concerns for our work together?
I'm used to working with you, so
so none.
Yeah, I don't have any concerns.
What do you need from me as a coach? Is there anything you want me to be sure to do as your coach?
No, when we plan together, we'll do our own mini lesson on the read aloud, and we'll do the whole thing together. So that we can divide it up. When you have a co-teacher in the classroom, it is really easy for me when I do part of the lesson and then Michael does another part. We just sometimes we just talk to each other. And that's the way the lesson goes. And it really flows. It really flows. And the kids are used to that either one of us do the talking, not just me. Okay. Yeah. He can intervene and and so on. Add whatever.
Yeah, you guys have a really good team there. But it's important to keep in mind that I'm not going to be there as a co-teacher, but as a coach. So we're going to be working really close together. So,
Okay. Okay.
Are there any challenges you anticipate might interfere with our work together?
Sometimes time is always a challenge here.
Finding the meeting, finding a time to meet. Yeah, that's true.
The time to meet and planning together. Yeah, time is always.
Yeah, as I saw this, I was looking through this. I'm like, it's not that easy to find a meeting time.
No.
Do you have any other concerns about the coaching?
No. I think you'll be fine, Vane.
We all hope.
Like I said, she can coach me. Okay, Mrs. G. So this is where we kind of start working on the logistics. So let's plan our pre-assessment and see when that can be done. Let me get my computer.
We have Dibbles coming up. We have Shauna, and we have Bridges coming up. I told you, time is always
just a few things.
No.
Well, when do you have planned your next like formal read aloud?
We do read aloud every day.
Yeah, but sometimes
yes,
some are more structured than others. So,
let's
and
see
we
next.
can just the things that we need to come up with the assessment first.
Yeah.
So we need
so
a
we
meeting
do the
for that.
backwards type of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's meet to plan the assessment.
This is next week.
Wow.
And then after
as busy as I am.
Then after that we have Dibbles here, which that week doesn't count. And then you guys have Bridges all week. Bridges will be all week.
They just sent me the Bridges schedule. And then of course I have 5th graders who want to come and read to my class and do a project, and I told them yes. Bridges schedule, here it is. Oh, but she didn't write the dates. What was Bridges? I need dates on these things.
Unless we... What about next week?
We can do it next week.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, and sorry to jump in, but since you have 3 learning targets, right, that you broke up using kid-friendly language, etc., I'm wondering if you can like dedicate 1 week
for each
target,
and then you use week 5 to like practice the 3 of them or something, so that your assessment, which happens on week 6.
Because one thing that we're doing in math, since it is so complicated, we decided to get together as a team, and we're actually writing this I can statements.
Oh.
For math.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're already familiar with
the I can statements, yes, because we're doing that with that's part of our TLT, making it a little bit more kid-friendly and kid-centered.
And making sure that kids can use that language and feel comfortable and really understand
what they're learning.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's a good
Let
idea.
me see, next week. Whoa.
Because it's
1, 2.
It's a lot to do in one whole session in terms of what the kids are expected to do, the whole inferential work.
Yeah.
And
Monday,
figuring out words.
Monday, I'm free at 9:20.
Perfect.
And at 1:10.
9:20.
Okay. Let's put it in.
So
I have 2 meetings on the 16th, 2 meetings on the 17th, 2 meetings on the 18th.
That's all recorded, Ms. G.
Well, I'm looking at my schedule here.
Yeah, perfect.
See, I have lots of learning center meetings also then to talk about my students. Yeah, we have the 1st grade team meeting, and we have...
we have meetings with me next week.
Yes. Okay. So on the 16th, I do have...
Okay, I sent you the invite.
Okay.
So we'll design the observation checklist and let's think about our co-planning and co-teaching dates.
Okay.
Because we might have to wait till the 1st week of February.
Okay.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Because Dibbles week, I can't. I'm busy all week.
You're going to be busy.
And then you guys are going to be busy in Bridges, unless we do it in between Bridges sessions.
The 1st week in February. Okay. It doesn't look that bad. I only have a meeting on the 6th, 7th, and 8th. 1st grade team meeting on Tuesday.
Let's wait and see once you have your Bridges schedule.
And see how it goes.
And maybe
because they haven't put it into the calendar yet. And when they don't put it in the calendar, I'm lost. Then she sent us the schedule, but then doesn't have a date on it. So I need to check it out. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
If I have any, I'll text you or something. Okay? Yeah, because right now, I don't know. So we're going to meet on
Monday,
and we're going to do our planning.
We're going to design the pre-assessment. And decide. Can we decide now when to use it?
When to use it, sure. Yeah. Because if we
What's your
design
read
it
aloud
on
time?
Monday, we do read alouds every day at 12:10.
Okay, yeah.
12:10 to 12:30.
Correct.
Okay.
So that works.
Yeah, that will work. Okay.
All right.
And then we'll decide for this for the next week
What target
our
one?
co-planning time and our co-teaching time.
Yeah.
Super. Okay.
Super.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
letting us
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
learn so
Yeah, I
much.
wasn't so sure that was, the student center thing, doing the I can statements. See, I haven't read about that much. Okay. See, I'm on my way out, so I don't read that much about education.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
So,
You're allowed
He
to.
said, I don't need that anymore.
Yes.
I'm gonna miss you.